This method right here, this allows you to boost your relationships when you have those confrontations, and then it doesn't crap out your relationships. You've got to give feedback to other people, and you need to receive it well in order to grow yourself. But giving and receiving feedback feels like a risk. I'm going to give you 3 key ways to do each one like a pro so that you don't destroy your relationships, you grow them. So let's talk about giving feedback first, because that's often the easier piece to take. The first piece is called the sandwich method. Step number 1, sandwich. It's a compliment sandwich. You compliment them, then you introduce criticism, but then you compliment them again. This helps them feel good at the beginning, it primes them to feel good at the end, and then it's easier to take the criticism in the middle. The person will go away feeling that they've done well, but that there's something that they could also do better. And that's usually how it's phrased is you're doing this great, but you could do this better, but also you're doing this great. So let's focus on doing this one thing better and then doing all of them wonderful together. That right there teaches them to optimize themselves instead of making them feel attacked like, man, you did this wrong. This is great, except a lot of people are often waiting for the bad in the middle. You can't just flatter them. You have to give them a real compliment, but you have pulled them in to talk about something important, and they know something important is coming, so then they focus on the bad. That can happen, so you can do this carefully and teach it and use it as optimizing instead of, hey, I want to talk to you about something really important. So, hey, you're doing this great. And they're waiting like, what's the bad thing? But then you're not doing this great. Oh, no. And then you give them another compliment and it just goes right up their mind. If you do that and say, hey, I want to talk to you about how to optimize this. I already feel like you're doing pretty great, and there's a couple things we can just work on to get even better at. You're doing this. First of all, you're doing this great. Here's this piece that I notice you're doing, and you're trying really hard, and you can give them that effort. You're trying hard, but we got to do this together. And then the next piece, but you're doing this fantastic. So if we can work on this one piece, you're going to be just amazing. That right there is a great way to do that without making them like, oh man, there's only one bad thing. And you can say at the end, you can follow up and say, no, by the way, you are doing great. And I want to reaffirm that you are doing great. This one thing is not a deal breaker. We just got to optimize it and put it that way. We are optimizing it, not fixing. We are optimizing you so that you are more incredible than you were before. Big way to do it right there. Number 2, the blunt method, which is just, hey, here's what it is, but it's not that bad. Don't worry about it. Here's what we're going to do, or here's what I'd like you to do to fix it. This can help in some relationships. It's very clear, gives them exact data. They know what to do, and some people will handle this very well. A lot of men-to-men conversations go this way, very directive. And if you are both very secure and strong in that regard, you can give this blunt data. Hey, you didn't do this. I need you to do it this way. Next time, do it that way. Oh, okay, no worries. But not everybody can handle that. Not everyone can handle that method. Sometimes it seems very harsh. This is usually when somebody is a higher level than the other person and they're talking down to them and they're saying, hey, I'm your leader, so hey, do this. And the other person sometimes will say, okay, and they go, oh, he was so mean to me. Why did he say that? Does he think I'm doing a bad job? Why is he so, man, that was short and blunt. Why? And they can be left kind of struggling. So be careful when you use this method. It can be effective, especially if you say, hey, just a heads up, this wasn't great. What you could do instead is this, but everything else is fantastic. So don't worry about it. This isn't a deal breaker. You can reassure. And then, so if you got to do it very short in a brief amount of time, you can do it that way. Say, hey, this is not a deal breaker, but just heads up, do it this way instead, and then it will be great. That way, give them a guidance for what to do, not just what not to do. That right there is crucial. Tell them what to do, not just what not to do. The not to do piece, really hard to take. The do this instead piece, much better, because then they know what to do. If they are agitated and stressed by it, they know what to do to relieve that stress. Number 3 is probably the best method for most people, and a lot of upper-level leadership and executives will do this. I've taught this to a lot of executives and business owners. It's what's called the team method, the teamwork method, which is to go in and say, our team is having an issue. Not you. It's our team is having an issue. Here is what I'd like for us to do about it together. What do you think of this solution? Do you think this will work? Can you see this playing out very well? What the benefit of this is that it doesn't make anybody feel blamed. It's not you coming in and saying, you are the problem and you will correct it or I will lock you outside with the wolves. It is you saying, we are having an issue. We will solve it together. You are not alone and you're not singled out and I don't hate you for it. Here's what I would like us to do. What do you feel about this solution? Can you provide some insight? Give me some clarity on this. It gives them that data that they need but it doesn't make them feel blamed, and it makes them feel secure that you are on their side and you are going to help. It preserves the relationship. It protects it. That right there is a great way to give feedback, even in a romantic relationship. Hey, our relationship is having this issue. What can we do to solve this together? What about this? Could we do this? Do you think that would work? Can we do this? Do you have some ideas? Can you provide some insight on this? We, us. That right there, avoiding the you and I as much as possible, and focusing on the solution instead of focusing on the problem. Key piece right there. That's a great way to give feedback that really generates positive results. So these are great ways to give feedback. What about when you want to receive feedback well? Because that is crucial. Being able to receive that good feedback, it's important for you to grow, but also confrontations are going to happen all the time. People will confront you on this feedback. Remember the conversation about people not taking it well and the other three pieces. You don't want to be that person everybody else has to tiptoe around and can't give you honest feedback, because that's just not a good place to be, and your relationships will suffer. So instead, do these three key pieces when you're receiving feedback, whatever method they're using. Number one, actually listen. A lot of us try to jump to reacting. We try to interrupt before the bad thing can happen, before the consequence can get here. We have to try to defend ourselves. If that's you, stop. Manage that stress level. Why are you defensive right away? That may be something you need to fix. Is it an attachment issue? Is it stress? Has this problem been burning you out and frustrating you? You're already stressed. Do you not feel connected to that person? Is there already an issue in the relationship? Where's your stress level? Recognize where it's coming from. Pause yourself and actually listen to the other person. Give them a chance to speak. Hear them out fully. Don't react yet. Number two, still don't react yet. Ask questions. So before you react, you can even say, before I react, I want to make sure I get this right. Clarify what they mean. Here's what I think I heard from you. This is called reflecting and paraphrasing. Here's what I think I heard. This issue is here. And then you can ask, is that right? Okay. Can you please explain to me why that's an issue? Can you please explain to me, like, how upset are you right now? Can you explain to me what the consequences can be? Can you explain to me blah, blah, blah? Ask clarifying questions before you react. Ask questions and get information. And make sure you're both on the same page, because you might be reacting to something they didn't say or didn't mean to say, because they might be nervous about giving you feedback and they might not do it great. And this will help them be clear in that regard. They might say, oh, no, I didn't mean to put it that way. What I mean is this. And that can even help too. Sometimes that can help before you react. And then number three, when you do react in a positive solution-focused direction. It doesn't have to be 100% about you. I'm so sorry. I'll fix this. Don't worry about it. Don't even think about it anymore. I will fix. No, you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. Calm it down and say, okay, I hear you. Here's what I'm thinking is this is a problem because X, Y, and Z. Here is why this has become an issue. Here's what I'd like to do about it. What do you think about that? And you can even turn it back with a team-focused language. Okay, so that's the issue. What can we do about this? And you get them focused on the solution. What can we do about this? That's a great way. This is a good topic. I see it's important. This is important to you. I'm sorry that this has been a problem. I would like to help. What can we do to make this right? What can we do to fix this? That is a great way to approach it. You don't want to cut off their feelings and non-validate them and make them feel like you're just rushing through the apology necessarily, but you do eventually want to get to a point where you say, okay, what can we do to fix this? Because that we, every time you say we, it clues in their mind that you are a working team and that you're going to function together and you're going to build this together. That is crucial. That is so crucial for making this happen. If you can do that, the we language, all of this, in fact, all of these ways, this three-step method for receiving and for giving, this will enhance your relationships through confrontations instead of risking breaking them up. Because confrontations will always happen. They will always happen. You will always have issues. You will need to give and receive feedback. People are never perfect, and relationships will always have those snags. Giving and receiving them in these ways, in these healthy ways, are crucial to building your relationships when there's a problem. A problem then becomes an opportunity to enhance and grow your relationship. You say, hey, we are having this issue and our relationship's great, but here's a snag. Let's fix this one and we're going to make our relationship even better. Okay, how do we fix this together? What can we do? And it's not you have been leaving your socks in the hallway and I am about to just murder you for it. It's, hey, you know what, we're doing great, but there's a few things that we need to work on as we're living together. So like communal spaces, we need to be both of us focused on taking care of our communal spaces. So here's a couple things that have frustrated me, and you are welcome to share some things that have frustrated you about the communal spaces. Let's work together to make our communal spaces better so that we aren't stressed out about messes, or we're not stressed out about people not respecting the areas, whatever it might be. That right there, that's a great way to open that conversation. And yes, there is risk of hurt feelings. There always is. But stopping, listening, asking clarifying questions, and then working together on a solution, that's a great way for you to give that feedback and receive that feedback. That right there should help so much. Use these methods in your relationships, in all your relationships, work, romantic, parenting, friendships, all of this, and you'll be giving and receiving feedback like a pro. And if you want to learn better ways to communicate with people, better ways to share your needs, better ways to even learn what your needs are so that you can then give the feedback, follow this channel, subscribe. I have so many new guides coming out, and I've got 100 or more on this channel already, more than that. Subscribe, leave me comments. Leave me comments with whatever situations you're going to use this on next. I would love to see that. Thank you.